Hello, you're kicking off the Wednesday's edition of QPVN Election News Bulletin. You're with Milinchi and here come deadlines. Party General Secretary and President Tolam meets experts and scholars at Columbia University. Emulation movement in 2014-2019 period brought up. Field hospital and engineering unit to UN peacekeeping missions deployed. On the morning of September the 23rd, New York Times, General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam and State President Tolam visited and delivered a policy speech at Columbia University. Columbia University is one of the 8 prestigious universities in the United States that have opened the Vietnamese Studies program with hope that young people not only in the United States but also in many countries will understand more about Vietnam. In his speech, Party General Secretary and State President Tolam mentioned a number of issues on the path towards the era of Vietnam ascendance, the Vietnam-U.S. relationship and the vision for building a better future for humanity amid great challenges. The leader highlighted the traditional humanity of the Vietnamese people and wise leadership of the Communist Party of Vietnam with its intellectual vision and determination as key factors to open a new chapter for the bilateral relations, contributing to helping the country deeply integrate into the national community. Vietnam's development path cannot be separated from the world trend and human civilization. We can achieve the noble goals with the pure international solidarity, valuable support and effective cooperation with the international community. Our success is your success. We will continue promoting the renewal process, openness and international integration. Vietnam will continue to be a stable, trustworthy and attractive destination for foreign investors, businesses and tourists. The leader shared that after nearly 80 years of national independence and nearly 40 years of renewal process under the comprehensive leadership of the Communist Party of Vietnam, Vietnam is standing at a new historical starting point, a new era, the era of the Vietnamese people's ascendance. The great achievements from the renewal process are the premise for the Vietnamese people to believe in a better future. Also, on the morning of September 23rd, Party General Secretary and State President Tolam met with experts and scholars at Columbia University. At the meeting, the delegates assessed that Vietnam has the potential to maintain a high-growth economy based on momentums of high-tech industries, innovation, and improved investment environment. The leader highly appreciated the comments, sharing and especially the sentiments of experts and scholars for Vietnam, asking the experts and scholars to continuously pay attention to and strengthen cooperation with Vietnam. At the meeting, he witnessed the exchange of cooperation documents between Columbia University, Fulbright University Vietnam, and VinUni University. As part of his trip to the U.S. to attend the United Nations Summit of the Future and the UNGA 79, on September the 23rd, local time, Party General Secretary and State President Tolam had a meeting with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Vietnamese top leader thanked the Indian government for its relief aid of 35 tons of goods worth $1 million for localities hit by Typhoon Jackie. He affirmed that Vietnam will work together with other ASEAN countries to deepen the ASEAN-India Comprehensive Strategic Partnership and called on India to continue its support for the bloc's principled stance and centrality, as well as its building of the ASEAN community. The two sides should cooperate in response to common challenges, further coordinate and cooperate closely at regional and international forums, promote principles to ensure security, safety, and freedom of navigation and overflight, and peacefully settle disputes in line with international law, including the 1982 UNCLOS. For its part, the Indian Prime Minister said that India will continue with its Act-East policy, enhancing its relations with ASEAN and Vietnam, especially in the zero connectivity, the zero economy, sustainable infrastructure, renewable energy, and maritime security. During his trip, Party General Secretary and State President Tolam attended a business forum in New York on September 23rd, local time. The event was jointly organized by the U.S. ASEAN Business Council, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and the Business Council for International Understanding, Vietnam's Ministry of Planning and Investment, and the Vietnamese Embassy in the U.S. Local businesses spoke highly of Vietnam's economic priorities, particularly its commitment to removing institutional barriers to facilitate business operations. They highlighted cooperation in various fields where Vietnam shows potential. The U.S. businesses also pledged to support Vietnam's sustainable development efforts and requested favorable policies to foster long-term investment and collaboration. Party General Secretary and State President Tô Lâm noted that military status and agencies of the two sides should continue to concretize major policies and orientations of the bilateral comprehensive strategic partnership, while promised supporting investors and continuing to implement solutions to improve the investment and business environment. He also expressed his hope that U.S. investors will continue their support so that the U.S. government will soon recognize Vietnam as a market economy. On the occasion, the leader also witnessed the exchange of many cooperation agreements among Vietnamese and U.S. firms in the fields of energy, electricity, oil and gas, AR, semiconductors, and aviation. Within the framework of Party General Secretary and State President Tô Lâm trip to the U.S. for the UN GA79 and Summit of the Future, General Phan Van Giang, Vietnam's Minister of National Defense, met with UN Under Secretary General for Peace Operation, Jean-Pierre Lacroix, on September the 23rd. Minister Phan Van Giang highly valued the UN's role in building the international law system, maintaining peace, preventing conflicts, and addressing global challenges. He affirmed that Vietnam, as the UN member, always follows the UN Charter, resolutions, and action programs. Defense Ministry of Vietnam thanks the UN for its support and cooperation for over the past 47 years. In national defense security, Vietnam actively joins the UN's efforts to address non-traditional security challenges, contributing to maintaining global and regional peace and security, particularly in UN peacekeeping operations, disarmament, and the fight against cross-border crime. As a member of international disarmament treaties, Vietnam strictly complies with UN Security Council resolutions on preventing the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, fully engaged in activities under the treaties. Before Mr. Lacroix about Vietnam's achievements of the decade of participation in UN peacekeeping operations, Minister Phan Van Giang said Vietnam has so far deployed more than 900 military and police personnel to the UN missions in UNMISS, MINUSCA, and UNISFER. Vietnam has also successfully deployed 5 rotations of Level 2 Field Hospital at UNMISS and 2 rotations of engineering unit at UNISFER. Yesterday, Vietnam deployed its Level 2 Field Hospital Rotation 6 and Engineering Unit Rotation 3 to UNMISS and UNISFER, respectively. Vietnam has consistently maintained a high proportion of female personnel in UN peacekeeping operations. For its part, the UN Under Secretary General praised Vietnam's active and effective participation in UN peacekeeping operations. He pledged to continue to support Vietnam in enhancing its capacity and participation in UN peacekeeping operations in the coming term. He also believed that Vietnam and the Vietnam's Ministry of National Defense would continue to effectively contribute to UN peacekeeping operations, affirming Vietnam's commitment and responsibility toward global peace and security, of fostering its cooperative and trustful relationships with the UN and other partners. Coming up next, EMULATION movement in 2014-2019 period wrapped up. Field hospital and engineering unit to UN peacekeeping missions deployed. On the afternoon of September the 24th, in Dong Nai Province, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính paid an inspection visit to Long Thành Airport project. At this occasion, he presented gifts and encouraged laborers working at the project. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính emphasized that Long Thành International Airport is a naturally important project, receiving great attention from party and state leaders. It's a project of strategic significance for the socio-economic development, national defense and security of Dong Nai Province in particular, key economic region of the South and the whole country in general. The leader requested investors and construction units to regularly review and update the progress of categories and component projects, ensuring the linkage and synchronization with inter-provincial and inter-regional transport infrastructure projects. He also urged to frequently inspect and ensure the quality of the project, avoiding waste and negative cases during the construction. It also needs to well ensure security, order, and level safety at the construction site, while paying attention to policies for workers serving the project. The Emulation Movement Congress of the General Political Department for the 2019-2024 period successfully concluded on September the 23rd and 24th. This event marks a significant milestone showcasing the growth of the patriotic emulation movement within the department. It reflects the commitment of the staff and officers to fulfill their responsibilities as the strategic advisory body for party and political work across the military. On September the 24th, Senior Lieutenant General Trịnh Văn Quyết, Chairman of the General Political Department of the Vietnam People's Army and Chairman of the Defense Military Simulation and Commendation Council, attended and delivered a speech at the Congress. Over the past 5 years, under the leadership of the Central Military Commission and the Ministry of National Defense, especially from the General Political Department, emulation and commendation work has been actively implemented to address weaknesses and fulfill political tasks effectively. Numerous emulation movements launched by the General Political Department have created a new momentum, inspiring military personnel to achieve excellent results, contributing to the building of a politically strong military, enhancing the military's overall strength and readiness. At the coming term, party committees and leaders at all levels, along with all staff and officers in the General Political Department, are urged to enhance their dynamic and creative spirit, actively pursuing professional expertise, strengthening their political resolve, and fostering unity to overcome challenges and achieve good results in the emulation movement, contributing to building a strong, clean, and exemplary party committee within the General Political Department, deserving to be a strategic advisory agency in the political and public work for the entire military. On the morning of September the 24th in Hanoi, the Ministry of National Defense held a deployment ceremony for Level 2 Field Hospital Rotation 6 and Engineering Unit Rotation 3, who are participating in United Nations peacekeeping missions at the UN mission in South Sudan and the United Nations Interim Security Force for RBA. The ceremony was attended by Vice President Võ Thị Ánh Xuân, Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến, the Defense Minister, head of the Intersectoral Working Group, and head of Ministry of National Defense Steering Committee on Participation in United Nations peacekeeping activities, and Lieutenant General Nguyễn Trọng Bình, Double Chief of the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army, attended the event. Both Level 2 Field Hospital Rotation 6 and Engineering Unit Rotation 3 have undergone comprehensive training in political, military, logistical, technical, and peacekeeping knowledge, with a focus on practical exercises closely aligned with the mission situation and requirements. On behalf of the party and state leaders, Vice President Võ Thị Ánh Xuân praised and highly appreciated the achievements Vietnam has made over more than 10 years of participating in UN peacekeeping activities. She affirmed that these efforts demonstrate the party and state's precise policy and the effective leadership of the Central Military Commission, the Ministry of National Defense, and the Central Public Security Party Committee of the Ministry of Public Security. You have clearly demonstrated the courage, intelligence, and dignity of the Vietnamese people, recognized and highly regarded by the United Nations and international partners, and supported and closely followed by the people. You are truly ambassadors of peace at the United Nations, contributing to the shining image of Vietnam, its people, and their uncle soldiers in the new era. The Vice President also expressed her confidence that the deployed units will continue the traditions and build on the accomplishments of their predecessors in peacekeeping operations, showcasing their strength, intelligence, and capability in fulfilling the noble tasks entrusted by the party, the state, the military, and the people, meeting the expectations of the United Nations and living up to the legacy of Anglo soldiers. I feel incredibly moved and deeply proud of my husband. This moment, in such a solemn ceremony, I feel immensely proud of taking on this United Nations duty. Following the tradition of paving the way for victory, we, the officers and soldiers of Engineering Unit Rotation 3, are determined to achieve the highest accomplishments and we prepare to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the Vietnam People's Army and the 35th anniversary of the whole People Defense Festive Day. On September the 24th, in Nanning City, Guangxi Province, China, Deputy Prime Minister Reup and representatives of the organizing committee pressed the button to open the Vietnamese booth at the 21st China ASEAN Expo, RCA Expo 2024 for short, and visited the area for Defense Economic Product Exhibition, RVDEX 2024 for short, of Vietnam. In addition to traditional exhibits, the RCA Expo 2024 also displayed products and services in new fields such as the zero technology, green and low carbon technology, new energy and smart connected vehicles, and ASEAN high-tech products. Deputy Prime Minister Reup highly appreciated the agencies and units under the Vietnam's Ministry of National Defense, as well as Vietnamese enterprises for proactively and actively participating in the RCA Expo 2024. He emphasized that the participation will help strengthen international integration, promote trade, and boost the transfer of advanced science and technology, offer opportunity to learn and share experiences in management, production, and promotion of defense economic products, services, and brands of Vietnam to international partners, contribute to the good implementation of the party and state's policy on closely and effectively combining economic, cultural, social, and foreign affairs with national defense, at the same time touting the Vietnamese country, culture, people, and military to international friends, thus enhancing Vietnam's political position in the international arena. It is the end of the English News Bulletin today. You can watch our news again at qpvn.vn. And goodbye and see you next time.